Good morning, class. In this morning, I will be your teacher for the meantime. All the way from Sibutat, I am your teacher, Nike Bahinting Hugilan. And to start my discussion, I am asking everyone to please turn off your microphone to avoid interruption and turn on your camera for me to see your beautiful and handsome faces out there. Alright, so in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen. Good morning, class. Okay, good morning. So I have here a short activity and it is titled Arrange the Jumbled Letters. Are you excited? Will you mess? Okay. So the first one we have here, Cassia Movesa. Okay, so for you to handle this activity, I will be going to give you two clues about the jumbled letters. So the first clue, it is a name of a person. And the second one is that he is a known fiction writer. Okay, by the way, you're going to write your answers in the sheet of 1/4 sheet of paper, and then after the discussion, you will be going to take a picture with it and send it to my messenger so that I will be going to check your answers, and then that will serve you as your attendance for this subject. All right. Okay, so number one is Cassia Movesa. Do you have any idea of that? Well, write it down now. Okay, opens up. Next, we have H.G. Swells. Okay, next, we have here Eiffel kicked. Kicked. It's up to you on how are you going to arrange that letters words, but I can guarantee you that this is very easy. Okay, next we have Troktogenov. Troktogenov. I know you can do it. Okay, opens up. Next, last one, we have Clarice Erkal. Clarice Erkal. Okay, opens up. Now, you're going to check your answers honestly. Alright. Okay, everybody, opens up. Jen. Okay. So I'm going to reveal the 5 persons or fictions writers. And you are going to check if you've got the correct answer. Okay? Alright, so we have here number 1. He is Charles Clark. Okay. Mr. we have here Mr. H.G. Wells. We have the other one is Kurt Vonnegut, Isaac Asimov, and Philip Dick. So these are some of the examples of known or famous fiction writers. Alright, so I'm going to ask the class, who has an idea about the topic that we are going to discuss in this morning? Everybody? Anyone? Yes, Jen. About writers? Okay, not bad. Yes, but I need another answers. Anyone? Yes, May. Yes, it is about fiction. Our topic today is all about fiction. So, who can share with the class what is fiction? Anyone? Okay, you didn't have idea for now, so let us continue so that you will be going to understand our topic in this morning. So the main objective in this lesson is to let the students know what is fiction, learn the characteristics of fiction, and identify the different genre of fiction. Okay, so I asked you earlier, what is fiction? Well, fiction is a type of writing that comes from an author's own imagination and tells a story. Authors publish fiction across a range of mediums, and fiction stories can be any length, like novels and novellas or short stories. Yes, okay, so maybe you have read a lot of books before in your life, and yet you didn't know that kind of genre or that kind of book is a fiction. So as we go on in our discussion, you will be going to understand what is really fiction. All right. Okay, moving next. Okay, I want you to take note this class. Take note for this feature elements of fiction class. Okay, so we have here four features elements of fictions. One is the character. Yes, this will not be able to be forgotten good when it comes when we are about to write a fiction. The second one is the plot, and then the settings, and of course the theme. Okay, so I have here nine different genre or different types of genre of fictions. Okay, so we have here number one, the science fiction. The second one is the mystery. The third one is the historical, thriller, young adult, realistic, romance, horror, and fantasy. Okay, I want you to take note all of these nine different types of genre of fictions. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. You can also take a pictures of it. Okay, let's move on. We have here the science fiction. So when we say science fiction class, it is a story often takes a place in future and involve fictional aspects of science and technology. Characteristics of science fiction include the space or time travel, futuristic setting or alternate history, advanced technology, exploration of societal issue within our current societal model, or the dystopian society. Okay, the second one we have here the mystery. Mystery is a genre of fiction that focuses on solving crimes and mysterious events. Ordinarily, the protagonist is a detective, and the remaining characters are suspects until proven otherwise. So, common characteristics of the mystery genre include a mysterious crime or death that needs to be solved, suspects that have motives that the detective must evaluate. The third one is clues left by the author that shows the reader possible outcomes about the who the murderer might be. And the last one is red herrings or clues that leads the reader to false conclusion about the murder. Okay, so this is what I really like when it comes to fiction class now because the readers or the author of the book will literally play when it play our minds as we are going to read their works or the book. Okay, moving next, we have the historical fiction. So historical fiction, history of course, it is a story that takes readers to a particular time and place in the past, typically at least 50 years or more in order for it to be considered historical fiction. Although the story takes place in the past, the plot itself is one that didn't actually happen in history. Of course, when it comes to fiction, these are they more on imagination that usually possible to be happen. Okay, so it has three characteristics. One is a combination of historical and fictional experiences. Two is a setting that exists in a historical time and place in the past. And third is the mostly fictionalized characters, but occasionally there is a character that is based on a historical figure that time period. Okay, we have here the thriller. The thriller genre generally has a fast-paced storyline and tension and suspense from beginning to end. There are many subgenres within the thriller genre such as the psychological, political, and spy, variety to name a few. So some characteristics of the thriller genre include the suspense of incorporated throughout the novel, plot twists to keep the readers guessing as they read, cliffhangers at the end of each chapter that leaves the plotline at climactic moment in the story, and then ending climax to answer the question readers build up throughout the story. Next one, we have the young adult. Oh, I thought maybe you have thought as well there that young adult is not being under or was under in the fiction genre, but young adult is under pala. Okay, so when we say young adult, writers create a market young adult fiction to readers between ages of 12 and 18. The plotline can be realistic or it can be contain faces challenges and changes that are relatable to an adolescent. So common elements in the young adult fiction genre include a teenage protagonist, a love triangle in which the protagonist must choose between two potential love interests. And the third one is the conflicts in the story that are age appropriate for the audience, such as trying to feel like they belong, succeeding in a sport, or having a romantic relationship. Next, we have here the realistic. So, realistic fiction is a type of fiction which a story is told that could easily happen in today's society. It contains believable characters and events and take place in actual setting, but the storyline itself is one that has never actually happened. So, characteristics of realistic fictions include conflicts that the reader could face in everyday life, a setting that takes place in the present day and is actual location or a fictional place that could be real, characteristics that seem like actual people you might encounter, conflicts that are solved realistically. Next, we have here the romance. So, romance genre can take place during any time period and may contain a realistic plotline or have magical elements. But the primary element of romance novel is that there is a central love story throughout the novel. So, other characteristics include a hero or main protagonist with whom the other main character falls in love, many conflicts throughout the story, making it difficult for the characters to be together. And lastly, an emotionally satisfying conclusion. Next, we have here the horror. So the horror genre purpose is to create feelings of terror and excitement in the reader. So the common characteristics includes the exploration into the darker aspects of humanity. The second one is main characters who readers can identify with and who often have haunted parts, past, and emotional traumas. Third is supernatural elements such as ghosts or demonic forces. And then the fourth one is a goal to provoke terror in the readers. Next, we have here the fantasy. So this is the last one, class. Fantasy. It is a type of fiction that focuses on magical and supernatural elements that do not exist in actual world. There can be elements of romance, action, and mystery in fantasy, and typically include the following characteristics. So we have here the magical elements of characters of magic like sorcerers, witches, and werewolves. The second one, we have the conflict involving good versus evil. The third one is imaginary worlds often similar to medieval settings. And the fourth one is the mythical characters or being like elves, dragons, or talking animals. Okay, so that's all we have. Those are the 9 genre or types of fictions, genre of fictions class. Now, any questions, clarifications that you wanted to ask? Wow, you didn't have questions at all. Very good. I think you're really a genius here. Everyone, or I know, have its bright mind. Okay, so since you don't have a questions, I have a question for you, class. Why is it that we need to study or know the fictions? Or what is the importance of knowing fictions and its impact to our life? Anyone who can share? Yes, Tali? Yes, very good. Tali says that fiction can also serve her a entertainment for her life. So when you are down, when you are sad, you can read a fiction book so that you can have your own imagination or escape from any problems that you have been facing. Yes. All right. So I wanted to share you what did Anne Pache said that reading fiction is not only develops our imagination, it gives us skills to be alone. It gives us ability to feel empathy for people we've never met, living lives we couldn't possibly experience for ourselves because the books puts us inside the character's skin. All right, so this is very helpful for us individuals for for example when we are burdened by our activities or school works or any houseworks that we have or any things that we do in our life, at least the fictions was there for us to offer us something new or something exciting, scary, as long as it gives us it helps our mind generate another ideas that would literally help us escape from any other burdens that we have here. Yes, and also fictions also gives us another ideas that could literally help our minds in order to for us to discover, oh, I can discover these new things. I thought this is my limitation, but we can also find no find ourselves much better compared to what we can do. So that is what the fictions impact our life. Okay, so for me to evaluate you, class, if you really understand my discussion, I am going to read a scenario and you are going to identify what kind of genre of fiction it belongs. So, okay, are you ready? Okay, so I'm going to show you again those 9 genre of fictions. Okay, if you really, you can take note all these genre so that you will be able to, so you will not find yourself harder when you are going to answer the scenario that I'm going to read. All right, you're done. Okay, so we have here the first scenario. Okay, for the first scenario, okay, so I am having my class. So first evaluation, first question or scenario. It's the year 2473, and Dell is an engineer on a spaceship that's traveling to the distant planet of Moton. While en route to Moton, he gets word that a meteor has decimated 80% of the population back on Earth. It is now up to him and the rest of his crew to successfully make it to the new planet in order to create a thriving settlement for the remaining people on Earth to live. What kind of fiction do you think is that? Okay, again, you can also write your answer in your 1/4 sheet of paper, and then yes, you can count it 1 to 9, and then yes, take a picture of it after our after I read the scenario, and then we're going to check it later. Okay, next we have here a second scenario. Detective Miranda Lane is investigating a recent case. After the police discover a woman's body behind a local Boston restaurant, Detective Lane finds a strange note in her jacket pocket. Even more startling is the note's contents. The place and the name of the woman Miranda was supposed to visit the night before he murdered. Soon, Detective Lane is rushing through a series of clues to find the killer before they attack again. Okay, opens up. Next, we have here the year 1918, and the commander has sent jockeys to the front lines of the war in Belgium with no combat experience and a terror of what comes next. This is the story of how Jackie conquers his fears and overcomes the unthinkable in order to survive. What kind of fictions do you think it is? Okay, next. We have here Shannon Holmes can't wait to marry the love of her life, Sheldon. They have a date and all the preparations are in place. Everything is perfect until Shannon finds out that Sheldon has been married for the past 7 years and his wife lives in a town only an hour away. She doesn't know what to think or how to feel. All she knows is that she's going to play along in his twisted game in order to find out the truth behind his lies. Okay, next we have here Paige is your typical 16-year-old. She just wants to feel like she day belongs and to one day fall in love with a boy, with a new and handsome student named Owen starts school in the middle of the year. She thinks he might be everything she's been looking for. She gets to know him and they became friends, fast friends. Paige believes they could become more. But when her best friend Lily tells her she also has a feelings for Owen, Paige realizes she's in a difficult situation. She must choose whether she is willing to risk his lifelong friendship for a boy she just met. Okay, next. Bethany has a perfect life. She lives off the coast of Monterey in a beautiful home with a wonderful husband and two small children whom she loves dearly. She has everything she's ever wanted until one day she wakes up and has completely forgotten who she is. With the help of a group of doctors and her husband, she will be able to remember who she is and everything she holds dear. Okay, next we have here Carol is in her late 20s and single. One day, she sees her old high school crush, Jack, walking down the street. After a few minutes of talking, they realize how beneficial it would be for them to pretend to be engaged. Her parents would stop bothering her about settling down, and he could attend his ex-girlfriend's wedding with a fake fiance at his side. Carl soon realizes she has a feelings for Jake and has to remind herself that this plan is just an arrangement, but she begins to wonder if it could turn into something real. Moving on, we have here Kenneth just got job as a night nurse at Grace Gobble's mental hospital. Although he's looking forward to starting his career, he's worried his dark past will come back to haunt him, quite literally. When he begins to see things that no one else can see, a ghost that call to him in the night, he starts questioning his own sanity and begins to lose track of what real and what isn't. Okay, last scenario. We have here Fox is a lowly elf with lives in the land of Merial, with no powers of his own and destined to work on the farms for the rest of his life. He has accepted his fate. One day, as he picks oranges in the family orchard, a fairy named Oslo appears and tells him that he's been chosen to save the rest of his kingdom from Magda, the greatest evil forces the kingdom has ever seen. Although skeptical at first, Oslo convinces him that he alone can save the kingdom of Muriel from this evil. Alright, opens up. Everyone done? Okay, so everyone who are present today, you can have additional 1 point. Yes, that is my award for those who really attend my class. So instead of 9 over 9, you can have over 10. No, okay. So check your answers. Yes. Okay, focus your camera in your papers so that I will see if you really check your answers honestly. Okay, so first scenario is science fiction. Number 2, mystery. Number 3, historical. Number 4, thriller. Number 5, it is young adult. Number 6, it is realistic. Number 7, romance. Number 8, horror. And number 9 is fantasy. Questions? Alright, so if you haven't put fictions at the end of the, for example, mystery, historical, just like that, yes, it is considered check. Yes, for we already know that it is fictions. Okay, so send your papers right now. Yes, at this moment, so that I will be going to check your papers and so that I can record it as well. Okay, so for your assignments, listen carefully, class. Okay, you are going to group yourself into 4. So it's up to you if you who you wanted to be with in a group, and then choose among the 9 scenarios that I have been read to you for the evaluation. And during the evaluation, so yes, and then act the genre of fiction, then explain the scenario why it belongs to the certain genre. Yes, so it's up to you and how are you going to act those scenario. Be creative. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes. Okay, so I think that would be all, class. It's already time. Goodbye, class. Okay, goodbye. Thank you for listening and God bless. See you next time. See you next meeting. Bye.